Hey, it's your coach, Laurie McNaughton, coming to you again today with another short video on some uh, strategies, some action items, some things that you can do to take your business to the next level, scale it up, break through glass ceilings, however you want to describe that. And this is, with the theme that I really, uh, from my perspective, think is the key to building a winning company, and that is it's all about team. And so this particular video is called The 6 Keys to Building a Winning Team. I'm going to go through each of the 6 keys with a short description and hopefully not get too long-winded. I just want you to get the point of this. I highly recommend that you jot this down as you're listening. Let's just jump right in. So the first key is strong leadership. So what does strong leadership mean? Because there's so many different ways to look at leadership. And I'm just going to point out a few things here. First of all, you have to be a visionary. Without a vision for the future, you're not going to be a strong leader. You need to be able to articulate that vision in a way that inspires and enrolls people to step up to the plate and want to participate, but want to be part of the team that helps you accomplish that. Other points of strong leadership is really good listening skills. As Stephen Covey said in his book, 7 Habits to Highly Effective People, seek first to understand and then to be understood. I can tell you I've sat in on plenty of meetings where partners were arguing about something and I'm the only one that was listening. And because I'm listening, I could tell that they were saying exactly the same thing, but they were arguing about it because guess what? Neither one of them was listening to the other person. So I stopped them. I've done this several times over the years and said, okay, here's the deal. I want you, Mr. A, to go first and Mrs. B, you go second. And what I want you to do, Mrs. B, is just listen to what Mr. B is, or Mr. A is saying. And just listen to what they're saying. And if you need a point of clarification about something that they said, ask for that point of clarification. And of course, this has happened to over and over and again in my coaching practice, working with, particularly with partners, but also with people on an executive team. And when they actually listen to what they're saying, they understand that they're really saying exactly the same thing. So certainly that's part of being a strong leader. Another point about being a strong leader is you need to be able to be conduct meetings. So you need to have some public speaking, I want to say a skill, credibility, however you want to describe it. But you need to learn how to public speak in a way that is engaging with people. If you're unfamiliar on that front, or public speaking is one of those things that is your biggest nightmare, join Toastmasters International. Get on the first club you can get into. It's just a great organization. I spent 7 years there learning how to speak impromptu, learning how to construct a speech properly, and learning how to deliver it. And so go to Toastmasters International. I'm going to move on to the next one because I don't want to dwell too long on strong leadership. There, I could talk about that all afternoon. So the next thing is to have a common goal. And you might say, well, Laurie, what isn't a vision a common goal? It is in a way, except for it's not the common goal that we're looking at in terms of this. So the common goal that we might be looking at is what is it that we as a team are setting out to do this quarter, this half, this year? And then so get everybody on the same page. Yeah, this is what we want to do. We want to hit this amount of revenue. We want to have this amount of profitability. We want to have a new office here. We want to have a new team members, whatever the case may be. But always tie it into revenue growth and profitability and say, okay, so if we attain this goal, then this is what we're going to do. So the common goal, like I said, it could be to grow the business by 20% or 50% revenue and increase profitability by whatever percent. Could be 1%, could be 10%, depending on how terrible your profits are. And then when you do that, there's a celebration that goes on. that's tied to that common goal. You want to get people excited about doing stuff, create something like that. The next thing to do is to set up a set of rules of the game, which is could be your value statement or your core values. And the way I put this is, uh, I've always put it this way, and that is your business is your sandbox. And so if other people are going to come and play in your sandbox, and they're going to play by your values, not their values. And if you don't do this, then you're going to struggle and have all kinds of problems with people because they're going to bring their own values and they may not align with yours. And you'll have people pulling everybody in different directions. You'll have conflict that's not being resolved. You'll have all kinds of things going on. But think of your core values as something that holds the team together in how we're going to act and behave on the way to accomplishing the common goal and or the vision of the company. So the next thing is you're going to need to have is a action plan. A strategic plan. If you don't have a strategic plan, you've heard this before. I know you've heard it before. If you don't plan to fail, but you fail to plan. You need to have a plan, and you need to look at it from an overall strategy and then action items and then who does what and by when. And then you need to hold yourself accountable because when you hold yourself accountable, you'll hold your team accountable. So that action plan, like I said, if you're looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, we're going to open a new location and or we want to grow our revenues by 50%, or whatever that is, that's the strategy. Now you're going to say, what is the actions that we need to take? Maybe I need to do some research on the best place to open a new location, or maybe I need to do some research on, what companies in our business sector are charging people so that I can understand where we're at. And you never want to be I shouldn't say you never want to be at the top. You may want to be at the top because the very wealthy and people, they want to spend money and they're willing to, not all, but many of them are willing to spend a higher amount of money because they want to work with the best of the best. You don't want to be at the bottom because the bottom is really just a slide out of business. You want to be somewhere, I would say, in that 80%, 80 to 90%, and then add value. Remember, people don't buy price, they buy value. Even at the low end of the scale, they're buying their values, and those at the top end of the scale are buying their values. So create yourself an action plan if you don't have one. I'll talk about that in a minute or two. The other thing is to support risk taking with your team. Too often, and I've seen this long before I became a coach, I saw this in when I worked for other people, is that if you made a mistake, you could possibly find yourself in some volatile heat, so to speak. And when you put people who are showing initiative and trying new things and speak to them in a forceful, authoritarian kind of way, you're going to discourage them from taking initiatives. You're going to discourage them from learning what they need to learn in order to solve the problem. And I'll give you a quick example of the beauty of this because it happened to me. I worked for a company. Their head office was in Red Deer. I live in Edmonton, and I ran their operation here in Edmonton. And I did something that cost the company, I don't know, it wasn't a lot of money, $2,000 or $3,000. I just forget off the top of my head. But not once did my manager ever say, "What the heck are you doing?" What he did is he came down, he sat down with me, and he said, "So tell me about what happened." I explained what happened. He says, "How are you going to make sure that that doesn't happen again?" "I'm going to do this, that, and the other." And he says, "Perfect." So I'm still engaged. I'm still enrolled. I'm still wanting to be part of the company and be part of the solution to and the growth of the company. And I feel like I've got my manager's back, and I feel like he's got my back. And so I'm invested. I'm 100% invested. So you really want to do that with your team. I know that sometimes it can be a struggle. I tell you, most people that I talk to that are either business owners or executives who have a team under them have difficulties with this. Now, it doesn't need to be difficult. And if we were to sit down and work together, I can share with you how that works. But just to say that the big thing with, especially in today, the people that are coming up today, is they really want to have a sense of purpose. Show them that you have a sense of purpose. Show them that you have their back. Show them that you care about them, and they'll start to care about you. And here's the thing, as in I'm just going to use the 80-20 rule just for an example. 80-20 rule says that 20% of your team does 80% of the work. 80% of your results comes from 20% of your people. So you need to have a strategy where you're helping those people that are in the bottom 20% find employment elsewhere, find them a job. And what I mean by finding them a job is give them severance and point them down the road and say, hey, listen, I think you'd better fit in a company like this or a role like this. Because what happens is people get into a job and they don't like it. They don't feel like it's, fits in with who they are or fits in with their skill set. But they don't quit because they're too afraid to quit. Help them. And then you find other people. And that way, if you look at the 80-20 rule, it's always going up. It's always improving. So the last thing is 100% involvement and inclusion. And I'll use an example of a sports team. I'm familiar with a lot of sports, but the one that I use in this example is hockey, because you got 4 lines on a professional hockey team. The first 2 lines are the people who get the most accolades. They get paid the most. They get the most recognition wherever they go, if that's what they're interested in. Get the most opportunity, and they, are always spoken about in the sporting world. Then you got the bottom 2 lines, and these people's role is just as important as those to win, just as important as the first 2 roles. Meaning that those 2 lines, what you want from them is, number 1, don't get scored on. Number 2, get a goal here and there. And number 3, play so that we can get you out there and not have to worry, so that the first 2 lines can get the rest that they need so they can get out and really do most of the offense. That's just the facts. Like it, love it, doesn't really matter. That's exactly how it works. So those are the 6 keys to building a winning team. If you don't have these already, start building them. Build your vision. Work on your leadership skills, communication. Create yourself a common goal for you and your team. Set up a set of rules of the game. Create an action plan. Support risk taking, and make sure that everybody on the team feels as important. Because that person that's stocking the shelves in your warehouse, is his attitude or her attitude is just as important as the person who's out there selling your products and services. Now, granted, it doesn't share the same value in terms of monetary, because those people especially those people in business development, they are the people that make the organization go around. But here's the thing: if you got somebody in your warehouse that's not, stocking shelves and shipping stuff that's not appreciated, doesn't feel like they're part of the team, they may be the kind of people that phone in sick for no apparent reason. They may be the kind of people who just don't take their job seriously. So, look at it from that perspective. Work on these 6 keys. If you want to find out how I can help you with that, reach out to me. Go to my website, lauriemcnaughton.com. Pardon me, lauriemcnaughton.com. And just scroll down. There's a link there. You can book a 15-minute discovery meeting. And again, as I said in every one of these videos, the discovery meeting is simply around finding out, first of all, if there's synergy between the 2 of us. Secondly, is this a problem that I can help you solve? And do you resonate with me, and do I resonate with you? I learned a long time ago in the coaching business is that I want to have fun when I'm doing my work. I don't come to work because it's not fun. I come to work because it is fun. And there's some people that are just not fun to work with. And so I don't want to work with them. Just like if you didn't resonate with me, you shouldn't be working with me either. So book that discovery meeting. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. It's 15 minutes of your time. that could literally change your world. I've been doing this for over 20 years now. I've had, if you go to my website and go to the testimonial page, you'll see a lot of people who have booked, or pardon me, written testimonials for me about the results that they, not just the results that they've gotten working with me, but also what it's like working with me. So, hope one day I'll get a chance to talk to you and work with you. And I wish you nothing but success in the future. So take good care and enjoy the rest of your summer.